everyone, it's me, Brittany. I'm here making this video for you guys, a short video about how to make a smudge stick. There are so many ways to make a smudge stick, which is also known as a sage stick. But I'm not only going to be using sage, I'm going to be using a combination of herbs from my garden, some that are fresh and some that are previously dried. So I've been working with using marigold flowers and flowers with smudge sticks, and people have been really interested in this. Alright, so basically I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. First of all, if you want to use marigold flowers or any kind of flowers involved in this, I do this kind of a really interesting specific way. And basically what I do is I take a needle and thread and I cut off obviously the marigold flowers from my garden, and I thread them in a line and I kind of compact them, but not too much so they can dry evenly, and I hang them up on my wall in my healing room here. And I have a whole bunch. I have a bunch of herbs drying up, and basically what I do is once it's dry and it is like this, it compacts a lot because so much of it is moisture. What I do is I wrap a sage in this. So basically this will be one of these pieces. So what we have to work with in this sage bundle is some dried chamomile, some sage that I just picked from my garden, some lavender that is fresh, some rosemary, and the marigold bundle that I have dried out. And I also have some fresh marigold petals here, and I just usually put them on the outside of my bundle and wrap it just to make it look pretty on the outside. And what I have here is some dried basil tops where it's like really compact and potent, and basil is very good for putting in smudge sticks because it's very purifying and cleansing. And all of these herbs have amazing properties and are great to put in a smudge stick. You do not need to get a smudge stick or make one that is just purely sage. You can use any kind of herb you can possibly think of. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is just quickly show you guys how to make one of these, and then show you how to wrap it all up into a sage stick. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a needle, any kind of needle will do, and any kind of color thread. And you're just going to thread the needle, which is the most annoying thing ever. And then take a string that's about like the width of your arms or so, and just break it off, cut it off, whatever. And at the end, make a little knot. What I do is, when you do a knot and you thread it, I just thread it through a few times so it makes a thick knot, so that way a flower won't fall through when you tie it. See, kind of like this. So it's okay if it's a messy knot, so that way it will not fall through. So I have a bag full of marigolds still, and see, just a bunch of marigold heads. And what I'm going to do is just on the part where not the flower is but the stem, I'm going to take the needle and just thread it through, and then you just push it all the way down, and then you do another one. And what I like to do is, if I have multicolored marigolds, like I have here, I have orange and yellow and a few like reddy yellows, I like to kind of mix match them in order, like orange, yellow, especially if I'm doing like a smudge stick, so that way all kinds of flowers will get evenly put into the smudge stick, so it's kind of nice. So you just keep threading them through. It doesn't take that long to make one strand of flowers. You can really make lots of these and make lots of sage bundles of flowers. Marigolds are extremely potent and are an amazing plant and are great for planting in your gardens and will help tons of your plants grow. It has a lot of like fiery love power and passion and feel, and it gives off a lot of good positive cleansing energy. So I really like to incorporate them into my sage sticks. So yeah, you get the gist of it. You just keep threading them through, and then you just organize them a bit, and you'll keep doing it, and then you'll get a long one like this. And then you let it dry, I'd say for maybe 2 weeks, depending on like how dry your climate is and how humid it is, and it will be nice and dry like this. And I recommend when you do a sage stick or like a smudge bundle of any kind, that you work with, if you can, as much dry ingredients as possible, because when you put it all together and you wrap it, if you're working with just all fresh ingredients, it tends to like it shrinks a lot, because so much of the fresh plant is made out of water. So basically you're going to want to tie it really tight if you're using just fresh ingredients, or you're just going to want to use dry ingredients if you can. But I use fresh ingredients all the time, and I just tie it really tight and use a combination of dry with it. Like this will be a good base for it. So basically it's pretty easy what we do. You just get any kind of thread that you like. I have red thread here. And basically, I think one should be good for this. Depending on how thick and how much flowers you have, you can use 1 or 2 strands for your sage bundles, but I have a lot of herbs here, so I'm just going to use 1. So basically you just have your thread on the side ready. And you're going to take, depending on how long or thin you want it, all depends on how you build your stick. Like if you have longer strands like this and it's thinner, then it's going to be longer and thinner. If you have it shorter and thicker, then it's also going to be shorter and thicker. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and see what happens with this one. So I'm going to start with some chamomile, just to give it kind of a good core, because it's nice and dry. And it can be messy. And then what I'm going to do is line the flowers. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just take some of this chamomile in half and flip it around so some of it's at the bottom. Yeah, there you go. So that way you get flowers at the top and the bottom, not just at one end. And then you take the flowers and you line them up, like so. You may want to compact them more for this bundle and just move them down a bit so they're touching each other, because when they dry, like I said, all the water loss is going to be gone. And then, could you pass me scissors? Thank you. Okay. Get your scissors, and you just cut off the string that was hanging off from it, and you just add your other herbs and build onto it. So this is longer than this, so if you have longer things, you can just put it in half. And then you do this. So I just put my rosemary, just break it off if you need to, and just lay it on. It's kind of curly. And then I'm going to take my basil tops that I cut out my basil that dried out. Very potent pieces these are. And I'm just gonna kind of lay them like this. Very easy. And then I'm going to maybe just put just a little bit of marigolds. It's really fun when you have lots of different flower petals and you can layer things. It looks amazing when you wrap it. Then what I'm going to do is just take the excess chamomile that I have, which is very soothing and calming, perfect for a smudge stick of any kind. I'm going to take half, and then flip it over. And then I'm going to just lay it on top. So it's kind of like a sandwich. It's an herb sandwich right now. And if you want to, like, if you can like put these all around and wrap it with your thread, or you can just wrap like this. I'm gonna try to see if this will work, but usually with bigger petals, like rose petals, it works amazing if you just kind of like have them just covering the outside. It looks incredible and it burns so nicely. But these are small, but I'm gonna try to see how it works. So I'm just going to add some like this. It's not gonna look as nice, but it will look like something. And then once everything is in place, you just get your thread, which fell, but I'll just use the blue thread. And you start to thread it, and it can be tricky. You gotta hold it really nice and tight and thread it tightly. What I do is I just get a lot of thread and put this to the side because you may need more. You tend to need a lot of thread to wrap it because you want it to be really secure, especially for when the fresh pieces like dry up. So this is a really big one, so I'm just gonna grab it and I'm gonna line the flowers I have left like this. What I typically like to do to start and end, I forgot just now, is tie a big hole kind of like this, so it loops through, so then when you just kind of like this, and then you can take it and give a little pull, so that we kind of get a little hold on it. So I forgot to put the sage into the sage stick. So I kind of just stopped the camera and took off the thread and stuck the sage into the middle and put the rest stuff on top, and now we're going to thread it. So like I said, what I do is I make a giant circle, and then I just put it around, grab it, lift underneath, and I have it towards the end part here, and then I just take both ends and I pull, so that we get some kind of leverage on it. And then what I do is just tie it a little bit, just once. It doesn't have to be perfect, just to give it a hold, and then you will start wrapping it tighter. Good. So this piece, what I will do is have going this way. So I'm starting on this side, wrapping it, and so I take it and put it through, and I will just kind of tuck it in between the herbs a bit, so that way when I'm done wrapping it towards this end, I will tie the end that I have with this end. So you just kind of stick it through Just do that. And what I do is, as I wrap it, I just kind of, if you're putting flower petals on the outside and you're using small ones like me, I just kind of put them on as they fall off and kind of, you know, put them on as I roll it and wrap it. So what you do is you take your thread and the end where you made the knot, you just start to wrap, and you're going to want to squish it really tight with your hand and wrap it really nice and tight, because like I said, all the water in the fresh herbs are going to be gone after it dries, and it's going to make it really condensed. If you do find that once you wrap your stick and it's done and you leave it to dry, you find like I have done a few times, that the wrap is a little loose. Now what you can do is just leave it and just go over it again while it's dry. So that way when you burn it, you don't risk, you know, making any problems of having it come undone when you're burning it. So I'm just wrapping it, crisscrossing it as I go, and what I do is I just kind of tuck the ends a bit. Maybe put a little flower parts there, and just crisscross and wrap. That. And then you just work your way up the stick. Make sure you squish it really nice and tight. And just, it's totally going to be normal for tons to fall out, so don't try to make it perfect. It's going to be messy, it's going to be fun, so just as pieces fall out, just add it back on as you wrap, you know. That. So when you're wrapping the bundle, I also wanted to mention that this is where you can do knot work, like magical knot work, and you basically set your intentions for what you want the sage bundle to hold, you know, for cleansing sacred space, purifying negative energies, things like that. And as you know, wrap it, you're putting that energy into the thread and into the bundle itself. So make sure that you pay attention and, you know, put some good thoughts into it, and just don't be putting whatever scattered thoughts, because when you burn this, it's going to be emanating those vibrations that you think and feel when you're holding and creating this. Okay, so I did it, and it's at the end. It looks very nice, and it's very tight and wrapped well. Don't be afraid to wrap it too much, because the more you wrap it, it can be good, because you don't want it falling apart at all. So what I do is, the end that I start with, I wrap like this, and I kind of make it a bit round, and what I do at the end that I finish, I usually like to have the flower stick out at the end and stuff like this, so you can see everything that's in it inside layered. So you can see the sage, the marigold, the chamomile, a little bit of the rosemary, lavender. So what I do is I just have some thread here, I just kind of put it through some of the flowers so it holds it, but I don't round the tip here, so, you know, people can see the nice little flower buds and stuff on this end, and they can start burning it on this end if they want, and it's kind of nice. It's different, you know, than just having each end kind of cut off and stubby. This is just a pretty alternative in my opinion. And yeah, so you just wrap it around a few times, crisscross it, and then the part that I suggested to have out on the other end to tie kind of got tangled into the rest of the mess, so I don't have that. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of get a long piece like this and break it off and just try to tie it like this. You just put it over your hand like so, and grab the bundle and then wrap it around, and then you have like a hole, and then you put it through the string that you wrapped around and you pull. Now what I like to do is put this towards the end, and then you just do wrap and then do it a few more times just so it's secure. And the last time I do it, I just put it through the loop a few times to make it a really strong knot. And I make sure it's at the end. And you can just take the rest of it and kind of wrap it whichever way you want, and tuck it if you want, cut it, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to tuck it a bit. It's nice and tightly tied, so it's good. It's not done back, so there you go. Here's your smudge stick, made from many different herbs, including sage, but not just sage. So you got marigold flowers, rosemary, lavender, chamomile, sage. It's awesome. And the tip here has all the little buds so you can see the layers. Yeah. There you go. It's very thick. It's very nice. It's a good size bundle. It will last quite a while. It won't shrink too much because, like I said, I combined a lot of dry ingredients. But if you use just fresh ingredients, just make sure you tie it really tight. And if you have to, once it's dry, if you have to tie it after it's tied and it's a little loose, that's totally okay. That happens. We don't know how much it's going to shrink, So here it is, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun making your own smudge sticks and sage bundles, because it is so easy, it's cheap, it's fun. You can just grow a whole bunch of awesome herbs in your garden, harvest them, and make your own magical bundles. So I'm going to make a whole bunch for some customers in the next few weeks and send them off to lovely homes for people to enjoy. Alright, hope you guys liked this video. Namaste, see you soon.